Everybody, welcome to a Saturday edition of Movie Swap. We don't do many of these, but we do when we have to. And I'm very happy for tonight's guest. He is an inspiration for me because he likes to go find deals when he's out thrifting and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about that. But I am bringing on one Adam the Movie Hunter. What's up, Adam?
Hey, what's up? What's going on, Dell?
Hey, we can't call it. We're here. Um, and I brought up thrifting. So, my first question for you really is, how often do you actually go out? Because I see videos, but how often do you actually go out?
Well, as often as I can, but on average, probably once a week, up to maybe three times. Um, and not every visit or every trip goes, hours. Sometimes just a quick stop on the way home from work. Lately, I've been doing like what I call a Friday night stop. Just real convenient. The traffic's light, so I'm already used to taking that time to get home. So a couple of maybe quick stops to the two Zias that are close to me. They're already on the way. But like a Saturday, I'll sometimes spend hours doing it. So lately, the wife's been enjoying it as well. I'll have her come with me, and we'll kind of mix in like a stop for her, and then we'll do a stop for me, and then it's a good day to spend together. So, um, but I preach you have to go out. You have to continue to go out. So even when you don't find something, you kind of give up. A lot of people do. You just got to keep going because it happens to me all the time where three or four times in a row, same spot, and then that fifth time, oh, treasure, I just found it. So
Right, right. So one of the things that I do that I fall into, I want to know if you do this also, is like there's a place like 5 minutes from my house. I don't go all that often because it's a little weird. They're only open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they're only open on weekends. And I'll go, once a month I'll pop my head in there, and go sometimes more. If I go, I'll kind of look through everything one time. Let's say I'll go 3 times in that month. The first time I'm gonna go look through everything. Then the second time when I go the following weekend, I might just kind of spot check, see if there's anything new that popped up, right? That third time, if I see one new item, now I'm digging through everything they have again. Do you do that?
yeah, I actually have certain sections. So I have like a sequence that I go through. I already know like a plan of attack when I get into the store. I have a spot that I call like the fresh fish that have come in because they already mark it for me the fresh new Blu-rays or 4Ks that
Okay.
come in. So I can start on that end cap and then go to like the horror section, then to my comedies, then to like action or just feature films. But yeah, what I do see every now and then, like what I'll do on the DVD section because they have a lot. I
Yeah.
would need 2 or 3 hours to go through the store. Some of these stores that I am at, but if every maybe once a month or 2 months, then I'll do a real deep dive at one of the locations where I'll just go back and scan through everything in case they've overlooked something or they've put something on the shelf that didn't make that end cap or I just didn't see because it was like an off week, for that
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
but
Um, do you have a most surprising find?
the most surprise. Uh, it seems like I mean, most of my collection is built on surprising finds, or I mean, just finds. So I'm always surprised. Uh, that the Dead Alive Blu-ray that I found, like, in a book off in San Diego. That's probably one because I never thought I would find it. Um, so that was probably one of like, I guess it still stands out because it was on the regular shelf. It wasn't in the glass case like I would expect it to be.
Right.
And I was like, "What?" So that was a good one, and just pretty much any of the boutique stuff that I find, like before Dogma was released, recently, found that at like the swap meet for $2, you know, Near Dark like for $2 in the same bin that I
Right.
overlooked, which was funny that I did or something like that. I mean, there's just different movies like that, just out of print movies that are hard to find. Those are the ones that are surprising. But well, 80% of my movie collection is built on that kind of stuff, thrifting and swap meeting and the discounted turn-in movie.
I would say mine's probably 50-50. 'cause every now and again, I just can't resist something new. But and when I first started, I was working at Blockbuster way back when, and, they used to mark down DVDs 3 for 20 and 4 for 20, so that's how I started. So I got a big chunk of that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, so when I started, I built up quick. Just if you're buying it that way, you rack up a lot for 20 or 40 bucks. Um,
Oh yeah.
but
I did the same. My DVD collection is got all those previewed red stickers from either Blockbusters or Hollywood Videos when they were just turning them, 3 or 4 for 20. I killed it.
yeah, now I don't have many of those left though because I upgraded a lot. What are you still upgrading?
Well, I keep pretty much most of my stuff unless I have 3 or 4 copies of something. I have a whole closet, unfortunately, that's just filled with DVDs that are just sitting there. I just don't have room for them on shelves right now or the space. But once my kids move out, I'll have another extra room. So that's why I'm just waiting for that day. Because I got 2 kids that'll be 18 here in like 2 weeks, so they're bound to
Okay.
move out eventually, and I'll have more movie room space.
Now, just a warning. I mean, I don't know where your kids are in that process, but I have 3 adult kids who are still living with me, so just
No,
so
it's hope. That's not anytime soon. I'm gonna be there with you, so Dell. Like they're gonna be here for a bit. I have one though that's on at least the right path to get out soon, and I know she's gonna want to leave.
right.
The boy, yeah, he might be the adult kid that stays for a bit, but it is what it is. I don't want to. I live in Arizona, so it's 115 degrees most of the year. So if I put him out on the road or the street, it's not gonna help. But
Right, right,
yeah,
that's yeah,
so I'm not gonna
they'll
kill
melt.
him.
Yeah, they'll melt out there on the street.
Right.
Um, last off topic, last thing is really recently you did a top 10 of the 90s that was not horror related, because you took your cues from someone else. How how hard was that to put together for you?
Actually, pretty hard. Like I said, I think even in the video that I did that the 10 could change, all the time. Like because there's so many good movies from the 90s, and I didn't want to keep it just like horror specific. I actually did that first. I did like 10 horror movies, and then I tried to broaden the spectrum, and I'm like, wow, this is turning into top 100. So
See who we are not alone. We do have some people out here on the chat who are kind enough to join us on this Saturday. And first in was Steve. What's going on, Steve? And Patrick is also here. Hey, Patrick.
what's
I
up?
go out once a week at my library. So, Patrick, let me just know if your library is still selling movies. Adam, is you still who do you know around you?
Libraries?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've. It's not something I frequent as much, but I have gone to them. They're great sources. My local one, I think, has done like 4 for $1. Uh, they just move because they rent them, so you can still rent movies in my
right,
library, and
right.
so yeah, all their like extra. I haven't really found too much I've needed, but if you're trying to build a collection, there's usually something, 4 for $1, and I have been able to find it.
Okay. Before I moved, I used to go to the library and rent movies that I didn't have and wanted to see, and they
Yeah.
would sell some off, but then right before I moved, it looks like they stopped selling them. I don't know what happened, and I moved to a different county, so I need to check where I am now. So I'm not sure on that.
Oh yeah.
Prince, what's going on, Prince? This was favorite weekly movie curator, Adam. I meant what I said. The more you post the stacks, the more recommendations I get. Yeah, Brothers Grimsby, excuse me, Oasis Daydream. Cool.
I love that movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
If you've
Oasis
seen like
Daydream.
at least the brothers Grimsby, with Sacha Baron Cohen or whatever, Borat.
Long time since I've seen it, but I've seen it. I haven't seen. Is it Oasis Daydream? I haven't. Is that another? I haven't seen that.
Unless
Or
that's
is it?
just like a scene or part of it, because I don't think I've seen a movie title with that.
That's a
That's not.
reference
I'm
to
not
it.
recalling it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it because I had no idea that that was a reference. And Prince asks, "What did you think of Samurai Cop?"
Ah, cheesy fun. Yeah. Uh, I like those stupid movies too, like almost like a softcore thriller, but not with softcore part. I'm just saying like the cheesy aspect of it.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. Norman Coffee Steve. No, they're just talking back and forth to each other. All right, let's see if anybody else has popped in or we have anything else. We do have somebody who popped in after this. I find surprises quite a bit. Found 90% of my criterions at my spot. That's cool. Um, Once in a while, I'll find a criterion at a thrift store. I usually find them either during the sale, I'll get them during the sale, or at McKay's Used Books here in North Carolina. There's one about 45 minutes from me. And it's
Yes.
James, what's going on, Adrian? And do you have used bookstores around you that you try, or is it just the same to thrift stops, thrift stores, and things like that?
No, I got two half price books and a couple of Bookmans. So there's bookstores that have the movies as well that I like to visit. I mean, that's the problem. There's at least 10 or 11 stores if I really try in one day that I could hit from the book offs to my Zias. I can't even hit them all in one day. I've never had so many options before uh, to be able to movie hunt. I do miss my swap meet from San Diego where I used to live. That I do miss, but here the trade-off is I got all these other stores that I can look at. So
Cool. Luke, what's up, Luke? Great channel. And I know, are we doing a watch along? Are you doing a watch along tonight, Luke? I know he usually does them on the weekends. And I think that is about it. Let me do a quick scan, see if there's any other new names that I haven't seen here. There's one. Here's my guy Troy. He's my partner on Two Old Geeks. Couple weeks, another episode. We got a jam packed because all the MCU stuff and some DC stuff that happened during San Diego Comic Con. Comic Con.
I've took my kid to a Comic Con and where I just had to walk around outside, had a nice lunch and a drink with the wife while we're waiting for him. But I haven't gotten into a con myself, which is funny because I've lived in San Diego pretty much my whole life.
I've never been to a con at all. I've seen people going into them
Yeah.
because there is one here in North Carolina that happens every year, but I've just not gone, and I should have went years ago, but tickets are getting way too expensive now. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the reason we're here, Adam. And we had each other watch some movies. If you could tell the good people what movie you had me watch.
All right. Uh, Probably my favorite. I think I was thinking about this before. It is my favorite Charles Bronson movie. 10 to Midnight. I actually own it, so I just figured I'd bring it out, just to give a reference. Uh, the movie itself is just basically a vigilante, seeking justice, uh, fight like taking down a serial killer. You know, it it's I'm gonna say longer than I expected to that type of movie to be. It has maybe a little bit of 15 minutes. It could be shortened, but overall, it just keeps at a great pace. Um, Not too many kills, but when it does involve that, when it does get, let's say, erotic, it's great in those moments. Bronson, though, the best. He's just plays Leo Kessler, and basically just doesn't take shit from no one. So once he um, finds who's it, the character in there, Stacy, William Stacy, I think it is his last name. But bottom line, this guy's crazy, and he just does everything he has to take him down. So from start to finish, great movie. If you've never seen it, I'm hoping you're going to watch it after tonight. Um, but 10 to Midnight is what I recommended for Dell to watch, and hopefully you enjoyed it.
All
So
right, well, we get started. Is right off the bat, we get a couple in a car. They're going at it, and we see our killer. And it's not even a spoiler to say that this guy is the killer because I mean it's there's no doubt
Right.
about
You
this.
already know who the
Like,
killer is 5 seconds in.
right, right. Uh, the so I kind of heard about a movie that had a killer like this, but I didn't realize it was this movie where he himself gets butt naked and he goes after the people he wants to kill. So that was like, oh, this is the movie everybody's talking about. So yeah, he gets the guy in the car and then chases down the girl, and he kills her, and then I think we meet Bronson after that. He's working another case, or
Yeah.
there's another kill by this killer. I take that back. Another kill by this killer. And so I want you to see if you can go back to the first time that you saw it, that opening scene. Where were you once that happened, or how were you
Uh,
feeling once that happened?
let's see, because it came out in '83, so I know I didn't watch it right when it came out. So, but I was definitely under 10. I was like 8 or 9, something like that, maybe 10. But it was like, okay, I'm gonna love this movie. uh, that's where my brain was, unfortunately, as a youngster. And yeah, as you were just mentioning, right off the bat, we get nudity and like them having sex, and of course this guy's killing him. He's chasing him
Right.
down naked with a knife. So it kind of had all the elements that I was looking for in a movie, even back then, right in the first 5 minutes. So
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, as a kid, I was locked in.
Yeah, if I was at that time, I definitely would have been too, because I was the same. I mean, you know, sorry about that, but I mean, we're older now. There's no shame. That's where we came from.
Right.
I used to watch Porky's on repeat when I was
Oh,
like
yeah.
12. So,
Yeah.
so I understand. And but as an adult watching it, it was like, okay, why he was just in his car? Why is he naked? What are you doing? And that's one part of the movie. I don't know if we ever got an explanation for it, or did I miss it?
Well, I besides the fact that I think he's just weird, I think he was trying to cover. He thought maybe to cover his tracks because we haven't got to like where um what was it? How he got to the scene, like within the movie theater. So he got to set up an alibi,
Mhm.
for these kills. So I figured that was part of it, where he was trying to, like, in case blood got on his clothes or whatever, he wanted to be completely clean of it. He flushed his gloves from the kill. Strangely enough, he kept the knife, but he hid it in spot in his apartment. So I think it was more of like him trying to cover his tracks. But they never really talked about it. But that's just what I got. When I watched it these few many times, over the years, I'm like, okay,
Right.
yeah. I've watched CSI, a lot, so I was like, yeah, this is a guy covering his tracks. You don't want to leave blood stains or something on him.
Okay. I mean, that's a great answer because when I was watching it, interestingly enough, just a couple weeks ago, I rewatched Silence of the Lambs
Mm,
and watched a few movies with a lot of movies with serial killers over the years, and it was always every action, there was some ulterior reason aside from just trying to keep clean or anything like that. It was something psychological with every killer. Like we got with Buffalo
yeah.
Bill, Hannibal Lecter explains everything that's going on with him. So that's where my brain was right away. I didn't even think about, oh, he's probably not trying to leave any tracks.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, I thought initially he would be turned on by this, like that's what's driving his need to do it. But he didn't really go into that, or the movie didn't. They didn't make it seem like that was the reason he was taking his clothes off. At least
Right.
he wasn't trying to like do anything with the girls other than kill them. That
Mhm.
was his piece. It was his knife was his way of, I guess, you know, taking without getting too graphic. So yeah,
Yeah, he was taking care of business. Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
He was definitely taking care of business. Um, what did you think about him overall as a bad guy?
Uh, I I liked him. I actually liked how he progressed. Because at first he was just like calm and whatever, and then he let out a little bit more of his split personality, like when he called and did the dirty phone calls in his Spanish accent, and um, when he was getting caught or framed by Kessler, the detective Bronson, and he was just going like losing it. So he had a good variety of like emotions throughout the film, and towards the end, yeah, he was gone. He couldn't stop. He wasn't gonna stop. So I liked it. I liked him, as a killer villain.
You brought up something interesting, so I'm gonna ask you: did he really have split personality, or was he faking it to get off? And the reason I ask that because I mean, or is he faking it to not be recognized? Let me say that. And the reason I say that is because midway through the movie, maybe 2/3 through the movie, when he's already been arrested and his lawyers is like, "Don't worry about it. We can just plead insanity and we'll just say you have split personality."
Right.
Da, 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 da.
Like be crazy.
Yeah, so well, so you're going with he actually did have split personality
Uh, uh,
and the lawyer just picked
Well,
up on that.
yeah, I mean, he at least could have. I mean, he didn't. They also didn't talk about that either. It's just the way he acted, the way the way he did things, and I think it was more of just to be covering up his true self, which is that weird, girls don't like me. If you don't like me, I'm gonna kill you. Like,
Yeah,
just him acting with the detectives like all more serious. Like that's not him. It was more of him being that like weird guy at night, calling him and talking dirty, and then staring at him at work, and being that creep. That's what I think he really was, and then just trying to act like I'm not a creep. So.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. Um, so you talked about Bronson a little bit when you were giving a synopsis of it. Um, Now I'm gonna I don't know. Don't take anything out of what I'm asking you. I think
That's
I'm
fine.
seeing where you are with this. Does Charles Bronson play anyone different than he does in the Death Wish movies?
No, no, it's like his twin brother, or they because I love Death Wish as well. That series,
Yeah,
the first like three, four top, like I think five or what, not my favorite, but um, yeah, it's like the same, basically character, other than he's doing it. I guess it's still out of revenge a little bit in Ten to Midnight, but way more out of revenge, killing, vigilantiness in Death Wish, I think, because it affects his own daughter. Where in Ten to Midnight, he's just protecting the innocent, because he's a cop. That's what he's obligated to do, and he doesn't
right,
like scum like that. And I mean, he went as far as like framing him. So like he did that kind of cop. He's like, I don't care. He's 30 years into it. It seems like, and he just now going through the motions of taking these bad guys out. So
right, right, right. I'll say this: everything I've seen Bronson in, he's Bronson, except for uh, Once Upon a Time in the West, which is like my favorite Western of all time, and I guess the Great Escape, but he doesn't really say much in either one of those.
yeah, he's just a quiet guy in that one.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but that's not to say that I don't like him, because he does what he does and he does it well. So I don't have a problem with that. As the story goes along, we meet a another young lady who turns out to be his daughter, Bronson's daughter. Um, well, okay, let me back up a bit. So before we meet her, I'm not sure if it was before we meet her, but Bronson also has a partner,
Oh
and
yeah,
they don't really. Well, Bronson doesn't like him. I don't get it back the other way. He's just trying to do his job, trying to do the right thing all the time. And Bronson's just kind of. I don't know if he dislikes him as much as he's just annoyed by him.
I think the annoyed more because he's like the young kind of rookie cop compared to, even though he's not even a rookie, he's just younger or whatever. Um, and
Right.
he's probably like, oh, just another partner. But I
Yeah.
love Andrew Stevens. I used to watch him a lot on the late night movies with like Shannon
Yeah.
Tweed. Those two
Oh yeah.
were
Lots of those.
together. Yeah, those two had chemistry. So I loved seeing him in that movie. That was probably like, oh, he's in this movie too. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It fits the rest of his filmography like perfectly. 10 to midnight does. It's
Yeah.
it's interesting. Um, so, but like I say, he's kind of a straight laced guy. Uh, and then we meet Bronson's daughter, um, and they seem well. He kind of likes her, but he's still trying to be straight laced guy, and she doesn't like him at all. And yeah, I'll let you talk to how they went from where they started to actually liking each other, especially on the daughter's end.
Yeah, I think it just started more of he's like like just to protect her for his partner's sake. Like, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I'll just give her a shot, or just to watch her. I mean, but then they had a little bit of chemistry. I think the party they went to, little awkwardness, and then as they spent more time, just kind of like, oh, I think we like. Cause they're a lot closer in age, obviously. So,
Yeah,
but it started with just him trying to do the right thing. But he's a guy, she's a girl. She's easy on the eyes. So he's like, hey, that's just how it turns out sometimes. So
yeah. That party was quite wild, actually. Actually, um,
yeah,
yeah. Steve says once he was the star of a hit movie, I think he stuck with that character.
it
Yeah,
worked, right? I mean, it works for him.
it worked, and I don't know if it's so much as he stuck with that or that is the role that they kept giving him. Probably a little bit of
Typecast. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of both. Charles Bronson was the man back in the day, yeah. I think 2 was my favorite Death Wish. Yeah, I think 2 was my favorite Death Wish, and I haven't seen 3, 4, and 5 in a really long time. I need to go back through that series. That is,
It's a fun series. So up to four, I think that's where I think four is like the crackdown or something, like the drug dealer one.
which
Um,
one is, isn't Lawrence Fishburne in one of them? Is he in 4 or 5?
God, I want to say he's probably in like that, yeah, three or four or something. Like maybe
3
he's
or
in the
4?
drug dealer one. I know he's one of, yeah, I know he's in one of them like that. Or is he in the gang one? Like where they were like in the apartment buildings where his partner, I can't remember. I have to go back and rewatch
I
that
think
series
that's
as
the
well, but
one. I think that's the one where they were in there, with the gangs. I think he was in that one.
yeah, that's why I was more familiar.
So whichever
They're
one,
fun movies though.
I had fun. It's just like I said, it's just been so many years since I've seen those movies. I saw those when I was like I wasn't 10, I was like 13, and HBO used to play them all the time.
Yeah. That's where I
So
found a lot of my action, horror, all the types of genres. I mean, HBO, Cinemax. I was one of those lucky kids where the mom had, for some reason, she paid for cable, so we had them all. I was like, this is the best.
I had, I was I grew up in New York, so that's where I was, and during summers, I would come down to here where I am now to North Carolina to visit my grandparents, and they had HBO. So my summers were spent, sleeping most of the afternoon and then staying up all night trying to watch whatever movies were playing
Yeah,
uh, at night. So and it was like almost every night all summer long. So I saw a lot of stuff I probably wasn't supposed to, and
it
that's what it
happens.
is what it is.
Yeah.
We didn't mention the reason that his daughter, Bronson's daughter, needs protection was 2 reasons actually. One of the victims of our killer was a friend of hers
Hmm.
and somebody that Bronson knew very well also. And then 2, while she is in her apartment, I guess they're with her roommates, every so often she would get a obscene phone call. We used to call them back in the day where some guy would just call up and just say the craziest things to her and hang up. Um, so kids, I know for my younger people, if there's any of my younger people in the chat or watching, or if you're watching this on replay, that's something you might not be able to relate to because every time you dial a phone now on the other end, your name pops up, your number pops up, and all this other stuff. But that was a real thing back in the day. People would call you and just make a prank phone call. So, it didn't always have to be obscene, but it could be just somebody just, trying to make a joke or say something dumb. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Bart
And I
Simpson
was,
used to reference it. Remember The Simpsons? They used to do prank calls in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's why she needs protection. And I'm assuming that back when you first watched it, you didn't get that there was a connection between the two. Um, or did you?
No, not when I originally was watching. I wasn't looking probably to tie certain things together as I originally or when I was young watching it. Now, like when I watch it, I can see how it all ties together, better because now I know how a movie progresses and why things happen. A lot better understanding of it. So, but yes, the that's the whole reason too. It became like more personal for Bronson because he knew, oh, that's my daughter's friend. Like, oh no, like okay, now he's like, this is real life now to me. Like, and then she seeing him, and he was like, basically, like, even at the funeral, I think was where she was like, "Do I know you? Like, you're
Right.
familiar?" Like, da da da. And then yeah, the phone call. Now she's like, "Oh no, I'm next, maybe." And he, of course,
Right.
doesn't want it to happen. So yeah, that's when he asked, "Can you kind of go check?" And I think they even cross paths. Oh, I drive by her house, 2 times a night.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
me
did.
too, or whatever. So
Right. Right. So I'm gonna ask you to put yourself in Bronson's shoes, though. If that's your daughter and you've got this partner that you don't really care for that much, are you trusting him to do the protecting? Because he seemed to be awful trusting of that.
no, I also probably would have been watching and checking myself and on top of what I'm guessing he just wanted the extra help. And one of the times it seemed like he just wanted him to get away so he could go and get the evidence to frame him or whatever. Because
Yeah,
while
that's a
he's
whole other.
left,
Yeah,
yeah, he left him at like midnight or whatever, 1 o'clock in the morning, and now he's out doing something else. So, uh, yeah, I don't think I would have trusted my brand new partner with my daughter. Yeah,
that's what I was. I was like, I was expecting him to be kind of lurking around the party, for instance, and just kind of hanging around, but he really wasn't. He was still working on things for the case, but he was away from her and away from the partner, like you said.
yeah,
Um, Whether he was on the up and up or not earlier, because earlier on in the movie, I think he was really kind of on the up and up, but
he was.
he was just doing things away. And Steve, I see the comment there, and I'm kind of saving that comment because I want to come back to that a little bit later. So I know what you're talking about. Um, so we do get to a point. Lawrence Fishburne was in Death Wish 2, and I said that was my favorite. I feel ashamed. Wow. So it's been a while since I've seen part two. You know what? I may just
Dang.
do a Death Wish marathon here because I need to rewatch those. I've got them all back here. I just haven't watched them in a while. Um, Real quick though, what did you think of the Death Wish remake with Bruce Willis?
It's fine. I mean, different type of movie for me. All the movies that get remade or whatever, it's just since the whole film looks different to me, it's like I don't really tie them together. I don't like start comparing them. I just watch it as its own movie. But I like Bruce Willis, so I guess I think he could have done wrong for me either way. Do I like it like better than the original? Probably not, because because the original is what I saw first, but still was good.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I've come across anybody who likes the remake better in this case. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, the first one is iconic. It's a
yeah.
classic. So pretty tough to beat that. So you talked about him framing Bronson framing the killer. Um, s- not we're not going to go back to when you were 13 anymore. Just when that happens, though, what do you think? How does that affect the watchability of the movie for you? I'm that's a terrible way to ask that question. I think are you more into the movie at that point, or is that kind of just something that happens because you've seen it so much?
Yeah, now it's just part of the movie, but I didn't and I thought like it's okay, this is where they're going with it when I probably first watched it. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, not where I thought it was going to end up, where he's having to frame him and now he's going to go to jail or something. I'm like, I wanted more of him being out doing the bad stuff. which we got, luckily. But yeah, it wasn't how I expected the movie to go. And it actually, if it stayed in that route, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. That maybe would have not made this one of like a recommendation. So
Mhm.
yeah, um, but it's just like part of it, and it was I don't know I not to say believable either. I don't think any of this is how it could have really went down like that easy. It was so fast. It seemed like they just added this part of the movie. It was like 10 minutes just to throw in. I think so they could use what Jeffrey Lewis I think is his attorney, the guy.
Mhm.
He was in what like Devil's Rejects or whatever. Like someone that's he just needed more runtime or something. They're like, we'll just extend this part of the movie for a moment, just to, and then let's go back to what the other like main plot line is.
I'm I'm gonna hard disagree right there, 'cause I
Yeah.
think that's good. Um, because, I mean, before that, yeah, he's killing these people, and for me, it's playing like a run-of-the-mill slasher movie almost.
Okay.
And then I was like, "Okay, so we're just kinda heading up we're leading up to just the 2 of them having a face-off at the end," but I'm not thinking about anything, right? There's no intrigue for me. It's not like I'm wondering who did it, and I'm not really wondering how he's gonna catch him because he knows who it is early on in the movie, and I'm just kinda waiting for us to get there. But I thought that added a whole nother wrinkle to it where now I have to wonder, okay, how is he gonna get himself out of this and in a position to have this face off? Because it's still leading up to that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see that. I could see your point there with that this being that little twist that's needed to not make it just like cut and dry. Okay, this is what's going to happen, obviously. So they did add that. I could see your point of view, on giving it that element. It's probably because I've seen it now so many times to where now it's
Right.
just second
Yes.
nature. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just happening kind of thing. But also when I first watched it as a kid, then that's where I'm like, because I was so excited to see more, you know, things that I wanted to see as a kid. I was like, oh, I want more of that. Like, I don't want this to be a courtroom drama now. I
Right.
want, more naked ladies and knives and stuff. So that's probably why it was different for me at 10 or whatever.
To 10, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Um, we get more naked ladies, that's for sure. Um, we get this big scene, the big climactic scene where the girls are the daughter and her 2 roommates are just kinda hanging out, and of course, in true 80s fashion, one of them's like, "I'm gonna go take a shower," and hops up to the shower, and then the other one's, I think, already in a towel, and
Yeah.
our guy just shows up at their door, and he's already naked. So, again, as a younger person, you probably like, okay, this is part of the deal. For me, watching it first time now, I'm like, did he get undressed in the car and walk up? Did he walk all the way over here like this? What are we doing? But he's this way, and I got that question comes up more at the end, even at the end of this scene. He goes in there and he just starts laying waste to the roommates, looking for Bronson's daughter who's hiding. And first he's kind of torturing the one roommate, and the roommate who's in the shower is kind of trying to be quiet. He turns off the water and all that kind of thing. And that doesn't work for either one of them. So my question really is, do you recognize the one in the shower in particular?
Oh, recognize her? I
Yes,
I
from
remember the
anything else.
scene very. I don't remember her being in other movies now. I mean, but I remember the scene very well. Uh, and her hiding in the corner and her making the mistake of reaching for the towel right
Right.
when and pulling it slowly in. Oh, I love that scene. And she did die really quick too, but I don't recognize her as
He
an
did.
actress.
He
Yeah.
did. I recognized her, and, Steve's comment that I said I was gonna go back to, I'm gonna put it up. And first off, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't recognize the first name. He said a young, Kelly Preston.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize Kelly Preston at all, but I did recognize Ola Ray, which is the girl in the shower. She was the love interest in Michael Jackson's Thriller, as Steve said.
Oh, okay. Yes, now I could see it. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
wow. I'm gonna have to go back because I have Thriller over there on VHS that I just watched a couple months ago. Um, okay, I totally remember that. Now the face. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I was looking at her face in that scene as much. I mean, if I'm being honest, but yes, I did recognize Kelly Preston. In those scenes back then, but not Ola Ray. I wouldn't have put the two and two together. So,
Yeah, she's actually done a few other B movies, and tops always off. She started as a Playboy model, so that makes sense.
yep.
Um, so yeah, there's all sorts of pictures and a few movies of out there for Ola Ray. So, but yeah, as soon as she popped up on the screen, I was like, "Hey, okay,
Like I
um,
recognize the.
nice her." That was cool. But that scene was crazy. Easily the best scene in the movie for me. What about you?
Mhm. Oh yeah, that is hands down. Because besides the beginning of the movie, where it gives me that like intensity, that right there was the best. And I love his slow walk, like just he like slow like Jason or whatever. He was not running at the end. He's just doing that slow creep, to kill. Like the girl was crying in the corner, like no, no, and he just slowly kept walking at her
Mhm.
naked. Like
Yeah.
I love
Now,
that scene though. Yeah.
yeah, that was a great scene. But getting back to my question, at the end of the scene, he
Mm.
leaves and there's like no clothes outside the door, and we don't see him ever get in a car. So I'm like, what, does nobody see you walk all the way over here butt naked? What are we doing? But again, it was a great, great scene. So I'm not gonna give it too much flack for that. Eventually, we do get that face off between Bronson and the killer, and it goes how it's supposed to go. Um, I will say one other thing that really liked about the movie was the score of the movie. I thought that was done really, really well. Um, yeah, and that it added a lot to the movie. And the director of the movie, I want to say his name is J. Lee Thompson. I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
Lee Thompson, when I saw his name pop up, I was like, I recognize that name from something. So I looked up his filmography, and sure enough, he directed one of my favorite slashers, Happy Birthday to Me. So I was pretty happy to see that. Have you seen Happy Birthday to Me?
Yeah. That's. I think I'm like that sounds familiar. So many names like with the birthday names, but I'm pretty sure I've seen or have that.
Yeah, that one starred the girl who played Laura Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie back in the day. Um, but yeah, I love that. This anything else about 10 to Midnight that we did not talk about that you wanted to bring up?
No, I mean when you bring up the point like if we've had to nitpick stuff like that, like no clothes. I mean the editing maybe could have been a little bit better, to give those little missing pieces a little bit more of like tie-in of okay, how did we get there or why? But overall, I mean I just enjoy the movie itself as a whole. I mean we pretty much nailed it, I think, kind of the overall from start to finish. So there wasn't really anything we missed that stands out to me. Um, when I'm thinking back on it. So
Okay, cool. All right, so this is the part where, since it's my first time watch, I give you kind of my overall view of the movie and say whether I did like it or not. And we kind of hit on it actually. So all the killing stuff was great. It was cool. Even times when I could tell that it was a dumber or a dummy or some prosthetic. Even those times, that's part of the charm of those movies back there. I love 80s slashers, so that was cool. So practical effects for the win. Um, I was kind of did you lose me? I look like I lost everybody. We back now?
yeah, you're back now. Okay.
Okay, cool. So the movie was losing me early on. Um, And I had this conversation in my last movie swap when we were talking about Dress to Kill. So I knew the killer right away, and that movie never threw me off his scent. Same kind of thing happens here, and I was like, okay, now I just know that Bronson and this guy's gonna have this showdown. I might get to see some good kills, but no big whoop. And then the part where he plants the evidence and we get to the courtroom and Bronson admits it. That's really the point when Bronson admits it in court. It's like, hey, look, I did this. Now I was intrigued. I was in the movie. I was fully in and not just kind of watching kills happen. And from then on, watching Bronson kind of figure out how to get back into this case because he's fired as a cop
Yep.
and he has to figure this out now on his own. He doesn't have the police force behind him. He doesn't have his partner to rely on, and his daughter's pissed at him, and everybody's kind of pissed at him. So from then on, I was really intrigued with the movie. Last scene was great. The big party scene we talked about, not big party, but the big scene with the roommates was great. So overall, I would say yes, I really did like the movie. I was falling out at the beginning, but the movie snatched me back and hooked me in. So I was really glad for that.
Yeah, no, even better. Good to hear then. I'm glad that because yeah, with movies like this, you've seen probably a lot of them, so you're like, oh, all right, another run of the mill. So at least that scene, I'm glad that it worked. And yeah, the ending, of course,
Yeah,
can't go wrong with it. So great ending always is a good part of a movie, which
yes.
which is ironic that we're talking about that. So once we get into the other one, I'll be able to kind of mention back to this. So
Mhm. Good.
endings.
Yeah, because we have an interesting one. We have a little bit of an interesting one, and let's go right to it. The movie that I had you watch was this one, The Girl with All the Gifts.
Yep.
Uh, just neat zombie film. We don't pick up at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse like a lot of movies. It's not like, oh, this just started. We're at the point where humans are dwindling, where we don't have a whole lot of them left. But the ones that are left, they're holed up in one of those compounds that we always get to at the end of zombie movies nowadays.
Hmm.
And what's different about this one is that they have a bunch of child zombies locked up. And at the beginning of the movie, we see them uh, in separate cages, but we see armed guards come in and strap them to a chair and then wheel them into this big classroom. And then we see a teacher come in and they're having class, and they're not like they don't seem feral like zombies in other movies. And she's teaching them a class, and just to end the synopsis, just to make it a quick synopsis, uh, what eventually happens is zombies from the outside are start to breach the gates, and the few humans that survive inside get out, have to escape, but they're trying to find somewhere else to go. And they have this one zombie girl here, the one on the cover, and she seems to be a special one. She's obviously very smart, and they have her because she's the key to something. I'm not gonna say what the something is yet. We'll get to that, but she is the key to something. And yeah, let's just go from
Yeah.
there. Did you know anything about this movie before you watched it?
Just the cover because it's funny because I had it as well. It was one of those movies that just been sitting up on the shelf that I just haven't got to. I got it like at the swap meet, one of these years with a pile of movies. Um, and that's where I was like, I really wanted to watch this, and I didn't even realize it was a zombie movie when I first picked it up. I thought it
Okay,
was just like a cool drama kind of thing because I didn't read it. It just looked cool. It was $1. I'm like, hey, throw it in the pile. And
right.
so when it came up, I looked at it, and it was between this and Bernie, because I actually have also Bernie up here that I haven't watched yet either. So I'm gonna probably end up just watching that since you recommended it
Yeah.
soon. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pull this one out too. This looked interesting. But anyways, with that said, I looked at the back, and it's all the best zombie movie since 28 Days Later. Later, I was like, all right, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna pick this one. So that's why actually, because it was a zombie movie, that it went this route. So.
Okay. So at the beginning, then, um, I'm sure you were a little perplexed at the beginning.
Yeah, it's not how I was expecting a zombie movie to begin. It gave me a little bit of like, what am I watching exactly? Because they're just like, look. basic, like look like just normal kids getting like
Mhm.
locked up, in a chair doing class. Yeah, in like you said, a compound and everything. So I'm like, this is starting a little different. Not like a fast paced, not like 10 to Midnight where we're just in it right away. This one was like,
Right.
okay, so I'm gonna maybe get some story going, and that's what we got. So
How'd you feel about that story?
it progressed well. For me, it kind of started a little slow. Like I had to like pay attention and like, okay, let me just watch this versus just excitement's gonna happen every 2 minutes. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna have
Right.
to really pay attention to this one. So yeah, I did like the the concept, because every zombie movie has some kind of reason why there's zombies and all that. So this one's
Mhm.
not like anything really new. There's a fungus, basically, right? Some
Mhm.
type of that's causing this virus in them. But that didn't even really come up for a moment. It was still just getting to know more of Melanie. That girl you were
Right.
talking about on the cover. She's our main
Yes.
character. So her just kind of building up, knowing that she was smart. I was enjoying her character, so that it kept me in the movie. Melanie did. So
Mhm.
her acting was, well, upbeat little kid. So I
That was
like
gonna
kid
be my next
movies.
question.
Yeah,
What you think of the child actor in particular? But yeah, she was. I
I
thought
liked her. Yeah,
yeah.
her accent too. I enjoyed the accent. So that also kind of kept me in. She's not. It wasn't deep or whatever because it's based over this bases of compounds in England. So
Mhm.
sometimes like movies over in like the UK or England sometimes can be a little slow for me as well. Like their build up, they spend like 50 minutes building it up and then it's boom. So they did what I was kind of expecting a little bit. But yeah, her character was good.
Right. Um, one of my not I wouldn't say my favorite scenes, but I think a pretty important scene was during this class, the teacher, um, and I'm forgetting who the teacher with her name right now. Uh, yeah, it was Gemma
It,
Arterton plays the
yeah,
teacher.
it's
She
Justin
touches,
Al or Justin.
she touches Melanie on the top of her head, and as soon as she does, I mean, soldiers are running into the room, guns drawn, and screaming at her. And did you have any idea what was going on there?
No, yeah, because I had no idea if these kids were sick, if they were like had powers, like like why are these kids so like, and they're sectioned off in their numbers,
Mm,
um, keep them away, keep away basically protocols, and even and she was when before going to class, getting herself prepared, ready in the chair and stuff, just like I knew something had to be up with these kids, but I didn't know what. So
right, right. And then that's when we get the scene where the main guard he kind of uh, bares his arms and puts it right up to one kid's face. And then we see that kid kind of going feral right in that moment. And it was like, oh, okay, something's weird is happening with these kids. And by the way, Prince gave you some props here. He says rare appearance for Adam is going smoothly so far. Thank you, Prince.
thanks, Prince.
Um, so yeah, we what we find out eventually is that these kids were basically born to zombie moms, and but uh they still had enough humanity in them where they could think. Um, so they were like hybrids basically,
Mhm.
and that's not something I don't think I've seen that in any other movie, at least not as a focal point. It sometime happened. I think I've seen it once or twice where, like, at the end of the movie, it's kind of a shock value kind of thing. But here, this is the focal point of that. So once you find that out, are you still with the movie? You kind of like, nah, this ain't going so hot.
No, I like that element of it because it's not something they usually do in zombie movies. Because this is already now progressed enough to where zombies already have kids now. Well, not the zombie itself, but because they were bitten, and got cross contaminated or whatever in the womb. But and I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm pretty sure was it the main doctor, Glenn Close,
Hmm.
talking about like them how they got out of the mothers, like
Right.
eating themselves out or whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
So they have really like great parts of this movie that we'll get to, but yeah, I did like that once they start knowing, okay, these kids can eat somebody or do some damage. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the first great scene, I think that really had me in it anyway, is when those zombies from the outside start trying to get in. Is that the same for you or no?
Oh yeah, it picks up right there when the first running down the tunnel because you can see people running, and then right when they get into it, it's like nonstop for the most part. For a good 10 minutes, I want to say. But yeah, when they try to get away from the base, whoever's surviving, that's the whole moment. It's just like chaos, kills and blood, and yeah, it's I do love that part of the movie as well. That's one of the better scenes, I want to say. There's some really good
Mhm.
ones in there, but that was a good one. I loved that whole sequence of events.
Yeah. For me, the best part of that was we get Melanie eventually just kind of walking through all that chaos and everything is happening around her. I thought that was really really cool. Um, but her, we get the main guard, we get the main doctor and Glenn Close, we get the teacher and a few other red shirts for Star Trek fans. You know what that means. um, so we get a few of these people that kind of that manage to escape all that, and they're kind of on the run and trying to get away, trying to find a safe place to go, and they're dragging Melanie along because it's kind of split whether we shoot her in the head or not.
Right.
Um, right. So for you, how is well one let's pretend you're Glenn Close. Is she important enough to keep dragging along, or do you get rid of her?
Um, well, I didn't like her character. I mean, if I had the
Yes.
option, yeah, if I had the option, I might have been like, bye. Because she's no longer. I mean, at that point, you're just trying to survive, and she's where you're still worried about her job and like saving humanity. And I'm like, this is not the time to be worried about that. Like, we need to just save our own butts. And she's still
Right.
worrying about everyone else. I get that, like, still, wanting to do the right thing to the end, but I just didn't like the way she approached doing the right thing, at the expense of anyone, or anything, like. So I would have probably, yeah, the first time she pissed me off, like, bye.
So is Glenn Close the villain?
At times, yeah, I mean, at times, if there's a villain in the movie, because the zombies could be villains, but I mean, because that they're trying to survive the whole movie, but within their group, definitely she's the villain within that little circle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She's all about
Yeah.
herself. She doesn't care about any of them. Like all of them could have died, as long as she could just take what she needs from Melanie, really. You know?
Mm. Um, Another great scene for me. We they're moving. They're trying to get somewhere. Is we get to this where they have to cross through this. I guess it's kind of a courtyard, and there's all these zombies just kind of standing around, and they're not moving. Um, And first, let me go back to one thing that human characters in this movie do is they put this cream on that's supposed to block their smell from the zombies, so the zombies can't smell them. Um, but again, so we're at this courtyard, and the humans they've got all this stuff on, but there's just so many zombies around, and they're trying to figure out how to get through that. And how was that scene for you? Was that one of the scenes you were mentioning, or no?
Yeah, I love that part as well when they come up to was it like London or whatever? When they actually get to where they're almost where they're trying to get to. I don't even know exactly where they're trying to get to, but um, they're like dormant, I guess, zombies because they haven't had to kill or anything in a while. I think they've referenced that in another zombie movie or two in the past where they're pretty much just dormant until they hear a noise or come out, or virus kind of movies.
Yeah,
Um,
Train to Busan did that. They were kind of, I guess, um, some other movies were like that too. Yeah, but go ahead.
yeah, like just basically just dormant, but I think they were referencing using the kid Melanie as like a shield just because she's there, they don't smell the humans. That was a little far fetched for me because there's like 5 people and just one little kid, and they're not even walking close,
Right.
and they're somewhat making noise, but without making noise. I don't know. That part is
Until
like not really believable for me, but I loved it. I loved how many zombies were there and what they had to try to do.
mhm,
But I'm like, there's no way they couldn't. I liked in other movies where they literally put like the blood and guts all over themselves to cover their scent,
yeah.
or she's just supposed to be there, 3 people back. I would have been like, sit on my shoulders, like, you know, I'm gonna hold on to you. But these guys just trusted it like way too much.
Yeah, they did, but that scene that doesn't quite work out for them exactly like they wanted,
Right.
because Glenn Close, she sees something and screams, and that kind of gets all the zombies going, and then we get more action,
Yep.
right then and there. And I'll let you go ahead from there. After that, what's something, either another scene or anything else you wanted to bring up?
Well, when they get, yeah, I mean, then they get like, I don't know why they wanted to spend the night, or I think, or just rest up when they go inside the building. When they finally get to some place they can rest up, then they end up getting basically like trapped,
Mhm.
for the most part, because all of the hungries, that's what they call them, right? The hungries,
Yes.
are out there just kind of waiting. But they figure out that Melanie can lure them away or whatever. She goes out. I like when I think that's where Melanie, the kid, has her snack, her kitty cat. Um,
Yeah.
so that I like where she's just like all smart and nice and peaceful, and then all of a sudden she sees a cat and just is like, turns into a zombie and starts chasing it out and eating a cat. So
Yeah.
it can go from like a peaceful like moment to that, like in a snap of a finger. So they had a couple more of those moments as the movie progressed. Um, the kid hungries that were, I thought they weren't even zombie kids. I thought they were like real kids that just kind of somehow survived on their own, but then I figured out, oh, these are like weird little zombie kids, just like her,
Yeah.
but don't speak. Um, so when they came out and lured one of those other red shirt soldier into
Yeah.
like bait. That was another great scene. Um, he was like, "Oh, okay, I'm done." Like he should have pulled a grenade. Honestly,
Yeah.
like if you got the grenade, that's about to happen. I'm pulling that pin.
Pull the pin.
But he
Take
just
take out
went,
as many.
yeah, right. I know he just went with it. But that like those little moments right there just kept me like even when it started to like, oh, this is gonna be slow for a moment. Oh no, we're back in it. We're back in a zombie movie. Um, so I did like that how they incorporated the kids. Um, and then just kind of like that. And then, of course, the evil, our villain, Glenn Close, figuring out that she's Dunsies. I don't know where she was going to go or she was trying to get to, but I know she was trying to chase, I think it was Melanie or whatever at the end, but when the
Yeah.
kids surrounded her, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. She pretty much was that old, like in most movies where you're about, it's over. She just kind of like, all right,
Yeah. All right. It's over.
it's over. Here it is. Just let it happen. So I enjoyed that as well. The only, I mean, I kind of want to leave it there, but towards the end, is where maybe something could have been different for me. Um,
Okay.
so that like I loved everything all the way up to that, and then it's just the ending. I wanted more. I get the humanity thing and how where we're at, and her releasing. Oh yeah, so not to go too far ahead, the scene where she had to release all those pods. So there's this giant tree that grew from what it's some kind of like the fungus is morphing into something else or it's evolving or something where the zombies that die turn into some weird tree or grow into, I guess that's how it spreads or continues to grow or continue on, the disease or fungus. But her basically taking out humanity, even though I thought she was on our side, by lighting up the tree and exposing all the seed pods. So I just don't see where that's going to help in the future because the movie doesn't go and explain anything else after the teaching scene again, back to the teaching scene, at the
Mhm.
end and bring in the hungries. I just wanted to see maybe a different ending, myself, um,
Okay.
when it comes out to it. But
So for me, I get 100% where you're going with it, and I have my own issues with the end, um, because I wasn't quite sure if that meant that humanity is just needs to resign itself to the fact that this is the new order of
Right.
things. Um, then then why do we need to keep around this teacher if that's the case? But I also know that it was trying to show the bond between her and the teacher, and I guess through Melanie there was still some tether to humanity, and that was one of the things I really liked about Melanie's character is that she's so self-aware of everything about herself. She knows what she is. She knows uh, what the humans kind of want, even if she's, even if she's, um, I,
She's not
I'm,
like well perceived. She's not
yeah,
accepted as a human. She wants
yeah,
to be a human, but she's not accepted by like the whole the what the military guys were like, you ain't riding in here. You're on the top. You got to wear a mask. So even when she's like, I don't want to eat you, kind of thing. I'm not going to eat you.
right,
They're like, I don't trust you. So for not being accepted, yeah, she was willing to still like accept everyone else. Like and want to like I guess keep a friend around or something maybe, right? I mean, because I didn't get that
that's
either.
fair.
Like you just want like a friend or like a toy, like a pet, like. But now because now the doctor or the teacher, I'm like, is she gonna have to live in that thing for forever? Like how long? They didn't explain. Like, does this virus pod stuff go away in a couple of days? Is she stuck?
Yeah,
She can't live in that thing forever. I don't think. Like food doesn't last forever. So I'm like, okay, I want more. Like give me more.
yeah, they definitely needed to think that through a little bit more because,
Yeah.
like you said, she can't last forever living in this glass cage that they got her in.
Yeah.
Um, where did they even get this cage? I have no clue.
Oh yeah, it was like a mobile like testing thing that just got
Yeah,
abandoned from way back. But I know it's not ready to make survival last for probably a week or more, right? I mean, it's not built for long term. So that's what I was like. And she's just comfortable getting ready to teach the class. I'm like, this is where it's okay. But
mhm, mhm, and, yeah, so it's one of those things where they could have gone further with it just like you said, um, that and my thing is, yeah, it looks like, hey, this is the way things are gonna be, and maybe the teacher is there to maintain some sort of humanity, but that's not a long term solution. She can't live forever for there. So, um, so my question to you then from there is, how big of a hit does the movie take I of this?
I mean, not to where like, oh no, I would never watch it. I would watch this movie again. So it doesn't like take away too much. It let me down a little bit if like my balloon was getting completely inflated. Like it just take it down like a little bit at the end. But yeah, that's like my only major. It's like gripe if I have a gripe with the movie. It's just that like I think they could have cut out maybe a little bit of the beginning, just a little bit, and then just add a little bit more to the end to tie kind of where it was going to go or how
Okay.
or tie maybe more of the information together to where I'm like, okay, I can did not just let me believe or think. I guess some movies are meant to do that. Like, okay, you can now let your brain wander. Um, but yeah, overall, it didn't take away enough to where I would not like it or recommend it. So,
Okay. Um, Ryan is here. What's going on, Ryan? He says, "Look at these two
hey, what's
dudes."
up, Ryan?
Adrian is just talking to Ryan. In the chat, if anybody's seen 10 to Midnight or The Girl with All the Gifts, feel free to share whatever it is that you know or like or dislike about the movie. And again, a lot of back and forth back here. Here we go. Uh, Steve says that teacher ain't got much of a life the way things ended. Why stay alive?
Right?
Ooh.
I wouldn't be worried about teaching these kids if that's how she left me. Like, what? I thought you were my
My-
friends, Kelly.
yeah. My only answer to that question though is, as people who are alive, we always think it's better to be alive than dead. So that's my only thing. Well, not always, but we usually think that. But I'm sure after a few days of this, you got to be thinking like, okay, life, what if that's the case, just
You're
eat me
just
now
waiting
or
to die. Yeah, you're at that point. You're just like, okay, the clock's ticking, and I don't know if that's worse. If I'd rather just went out real quick, or like, okay, I got about 7 days left to sit here and wait for the end like to happen. It's like I
right,
don't want that decision. I don't want to have to make that decision. So
right. I don't want to have to make that one at all. Um, let's see. Oh, that was it for that one. Um, Overall, I since we've been talking about the ending, I think up until the ending, the writing was really strong right up until right up until that part. So that was a big plus for me, and then the end kind of like fizzled off a little bit. So anything else about this movie that you wanted to bring up?
Uh, well, I mean, yeah, it's a good zombie movie. That's not just all zombie, So they incorporate enough of it to keep the zombie fan intrigue watching, But it has a lot of other elements, When it says it's like I don't get the sci-fi aspect when I looked up the label, like what it tries to title the genre as, um, but I did like the emotional ties to the characters and the story itself, you know, uh, as a whole was good. Um, so yeah, very well done movie. Definitely would recommend it to anyone that was looking for something a little different type of a zombie flick. Like okay, I want to see something other than just fast zombies running, killing people, or eating brains. Like the cheesy Return of the Dead style. This one's got some seriousness to it. You got to think a little bit. All that.
Yeah, and so I think you just answered the other question, which was your overall thoughts of it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Steve does have something to add, and I think he's along the same lines. Says I love the girl with all the gifts so much until that ending, which made the end seem more disappointing because I was so invested in the story. And yeah, that's pretty much what we were both saying.
Yeah.
Really good. Just could have used a few more passes on that ending, coming up with something a little different.
Yeah, I thought after the tree got lit, the pods and stuff, like, okay, there's gonna be something big that's about to happen. Like the whole world's gonna like just gonna turn into zombies and
Right.
everybody's just gonna like I don't know, I just thought it was gonna go in a different direction than that was it. But it was overall leading all the way up to that point, yes. Well said. I'm very invested. I was as well into the story. Once it got going and I figured out what was going on, I was all in, on the trip to London.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, like I said, we're on the same wavelength, and I do think, and the reason I recommend it, I do think it's a movie more people need to see, and form their own opinions, of course. So I'm not telling you that this is like the best zombie movie since whatever
Oh
the
yeah.
back of this Blu-ray says. It's the movie, and I highly recommend people just checking it out and coming up with their own opinion on that. Uh, Prince had a question for me earlier that I kind of skipped over, but here I am back. He said, "Here's a superhero question. What's one positive thing you can say about Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance?" Before I say anything positive, do you have you seen that movie?
Is that the that's the sequel, right?
Yes.
I haven't watched that one in so long. I kind of remember it a little bit. I gotta rewatch it, but I do remember I like uh um part one better of Ghost Rider at least. But
Yes, it is better. It
yeah,
is 100 times. It's
yeah,
100
like
times a better movie. So here's where my answer comes in, Prince. I will say that Spirit of Vengeance, though, is maybe more rewatchable because it's so goofy. And definitely the biggest plus is Nick Cage goes full Nick Cage several times in the movie. He gets as crazy as he lets him as they'll let him. So that's my positive for that. So yeah, I recognize it's a terrible movie, but it's just so much fun watching it be terrible, if that makes sense.
I know I have to rewatch that one too. I haven't seen it, but maybe one time a couple of years ago when I found it or picked it up, probably like thrifting or something. It was one I was like, oh, I gotta see it. It's part two of Ghost Rider, but I never went back to it, so I don't think it was that great. It wasn't like, oh, I got to rewatch this soon.
Like I guarantee you, it's not that when you do watch it, you'll understand it's not a good movie. The
Yeah.
question is going to be whether or not you see where I'm coming from as far as it being so bad it's good, or is it just so bad that it's bad? And I can see either way. I can see people going either way on that. Um, it's just the way those
I
kind of
like
movies.
bad movies, so I'll watch a bad movie even all the way through. But sometimes when they're really bad, like almost on purpose, that's when they get really good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There, I got some another Ghost Rider question for you then, or for anybody in the chat. Also, coming out of San Diego Comic Con last week, it was announced that Ryan Gosling is going to be the. How does that sound?
I mean, I don't mind when people like actors take on new characters and stuff. I'm not the biggest fan now of the like a character getting killed off and then coming back as another
Right.
character. I usually don't like that as much, but if someone's never played one, a superhero, they want to give it a shot, I'm all in seeing how it works out. Because at first I wouldn't have watched superhero movies, I think, growing up. I wasn't like the biggest, besides Batman, like Michael
Mhm.
Keaton was always that Batman, and like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. That was the best for me, and like that's all I needed. Besides regular Superman with Christopher Reeves. Those
Yeah.
were it. Like I didn't care about anything else superhero. Those were the only two I even watched. And then now with all the DC and the Marvel universe, I'm like open. I'm like way more open. Actually, the wife and I just rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine the other night. I haven't watched it since the first time it came out, and really loved that movie so much again. I'm like, I don't think any superhero movie for me could be bad now for the most part. I enjoy almost all of them.
Yeah. I'm obviously a big superhero fan, but most of them, even the bad ones that you go to, are fun movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I could eat some popcorn and it's got some action and special effects and generally a good story. Sometimes some Easter eggs or funny little one-liner things that I'm like, okay, so I just enjoy them. Out of all, I was speaking of like Deadpool is I think my favorite. It's like of the universe of superheroes. Like I just get Deadpool. I just love
Oh yeah, he's
Ryan
so much.
Reynolds. Yeah, it's just too much fun. I just have too much fun with it.
Yeah, they do. Prince added, Eva Mendes was in the '07 Ghost Rider. That's the original one. Funny how the universe works. The husband gets to play his dream role. So totally forgot that they were married. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
wouldn't have known.
that is a cool little thing. Um, so yeah, we've reached the end of it. Um, Glad you enjoyed the girl with all the gifts. I enjoy 10 to midnight, so I'm gonna call it a win-win situation here for this episode of Movie Swap.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna turn the floor over to you. I'm gonna give you the big screen here, put you in close up, and you can let people know where to find you, what you got going on, or anything else you want to say.
All right, cool. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me, Del. This was fun. I haven't been on, I think, a live stream in so long, so this was fun just to get back out. Like I mentioned earlier on my Instagram, actually very confusing. I want that movie, where you can find me on IG, and then Adam the Movie Hunter here on YouTube. But a rare appearance, and I do go out thrifting and put those videos up if I can once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks now, but trying to get out a little bit more often. Tons of backlog catalog there, though. If you're looking for thrifting and hauls, Adam the Movie Hunter, go check it out. And on the IG, as Prince pointed out, the stacks. I love putting stacks up of movies that I've just recently watched. So if you want to see like the last 10 movies that I watch, that's where I'll post them. So that's usually what will pop up. But right now, just movie hunting, finding that next treasure. That's all I got planned.
All right, cool. Here, you guys, thank you for being patient with me and coming out for my live streams. Videos wise, I've got like 7 or 8 videos I have to actually edit. More hauls actually, but when I get to them, I'll get to them. I'll throw them out there, or maybe I'll just reshoot them and do something else. Who knows? Also, thank you for being patient for people who've been following me, doing year by year the best movie of each year since 2000. It's been going on for now a year, which at this point it's going to change into the best. It was supposed to be leading up to the best 25 movies from 2000 to 2025. It may just turn into the best 26 now from here to 2000 to 2026. We'll see. But thanks for that. Episode of Two Old Geeks in a couple of weeks. Um, Next, I believe it's going to be a Sunday. I'm not going to be here on my channel. I'm going to be on Sub Media Reviews. We're going to be talking about school movies since it's back to school time. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Thank you for coming out. Uh, I look forward to seeing you guys all again. Thank you, Adam, for hanging out with me
Oh
tonight.
yeah.
And
Oh
bye
yeah.
bye to everybody else.